Are your live streams interrupted by trolls, haters, spammers, basically people that look to distract you from your live streams? Well, on this episode of the Launch Your Live show, we're going to talk about how to stop trolls, haters, and spam. So, I'm Christian Karasiewicz. I'm the founder of the Launch Your Live show. For those of you who are watching us live, if you want to check out any of the items that we're talking about during this episode, all you need to do is go to launchyour.live/stop trolls, and you're going to get access to all the products that we have created. We've created a special list for this. If you are listening to this and you want to watch, all you have to do is go to launchyour.live/EP110 for episode 110, and you'll be able to watch the replay of the live stream. But with that, I'm going to go and bring on Marco Novo. He and I are constantly talking about live streaming topics. And again, these aren't just for people that are, using live streaming on, certain platforms. This applies to like pretty much any kind of video or any kind of webinar or workshop, anything you're creating. So Marco, it's great seeing you. How you doing?
Hello, doing good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. So
perfect.
This is going to be a great topic, right? I mean, so trolls, haters, spam, everybody, doesn't matter who you are, you have this issue, right? Everybody has this issue.
Absolutely. And even more, they have this fear. Yeah. Even before you get them, you have this fear of, oh my God, and what if someone arrives to do this?
Exactly. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tackle a couple questions like, for starters, we're going to talk about like what are trolls, haters, and spammers, why interrupting your broadcast, like how it can actually derail your live streaming growth. And we're also going to talk about some different ways as well to help you get past that. And we also want to make sure that we hear from you. So if you do have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat for us. We would love to see that. So again, you can just go to launchyour.live/EP110, and that'll get you right into the episode where you can chat with us. So Marco, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's start off with the first question. And that is, what are trolls, haters, and spammers?
Okay. There's the first two, they are kind of similar. Okay. The trolls, they are people that just come to make some nonsense comments, to make sometimes some parallel conversations during your live streaming with topics which they are completely off topic what you're talking about. Haters are that kind of people that just came to complain about everything you're doing, or even to something that you're not doing. They complain about everything, and they like to put some poison on your chat box. And spammers are people that just go there to tell, look, come to my store, come to here, look at this, things that are not related to your broadcast, okay? But they are trying to somehow self-promote themselves, or something that they want you as a viewer to do, which is also annoying.
Absolutely. And I like how you mentioned that, how, they're basically sort of, in a way, they're there for their own personal agenda. And they're doing that. Some of it's to like throw you off your game. Like you will likely not ever know these people, but they're people there to basically throw you off your game. They're there to, for example, like detract from you actually being consistent and growing your live stream. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know why people do it, but there's a lot of different ways that this can appear. So they'll do it by popping into your comments, and, they'll put some inappropriate information, for example. They'll also, they'll change their like username on the channel they're on, and so it's like they're trying to redirect people off of your content into their content. Again, stuff that you really don't want on your live streams, because as I mentioned, it could throw off your consistency and whatnot. However, I mentioned it earlier, like this can be bad for your live stream. So let's get to that second question. So we know what trolls, haters, and spammers are. Marco, why are trolls, haters, and spammers, why are they bad for your live streams?
Okay, because they may distract you as a host, as a presenter, as that talking head. They may distract you. They may cause you some nervous, some anger as well. You may be at some point, you may be with fury within. Okay, and also this can cause the same to your viewers, those legit viewers that are there to learn from you or to properly interact with you. So this kind of noise may pollute your broadcast and can cause damage to the whole experience that people want to be peaceful, insightful, and with this kind of approaches, people approaching in this way, they may ruin that experience.
Yeah, and and that's a great point. They can ruin it for the person. So, some people, like, they're very fragile in the sense that they're just getting started with, like, for example, if they're just getting started live streaming and then all of a sudden they get, you know, you're always told to, like, try and manage the comments. Make sure you try to respond to all the comments. And then it's like, well, you're on screen and you're trying to be on screen connecting with the viewer, but then you get a comment and that comment totally throws you off your game, right? And for some people, like, it can throw you so far off the game that it's hard to get back on track. And so, like, we've got some great comments. For example, right now we've got our friend NLTMW tuning in from Ontario,
Hello.
Canada, and we've got our friend USA live stream as well, tuning in as well, saying, interruption and simple answer. Yeah. So there are people that want to interrupt your live streams for I don't really know, I guess, of any positive reason why, but, like, for the most part, they just want to interrupt your live streams.
Yeah.
And for some people, like, we talk about, like, why they're bad for your streams. It's about building consistency. So if you're somebody who struggles with going live, like, it's already enough of a challenge to get you to make a live stream, or if you're on Amazon, to live stream on Amazon, or if you're somebody who is making Amazon shoppable videos, like, if you're making that, it's already hard enough to put yourself out there. And so by having trolls, haters, and spammers, like, they then can, they can basically throw you off your game. So I think that's an excellent point there, Marco, in terms of, like, why they're bad for your streams. So obviously consistency is important. They can interrupt you, they can basically get you, keep you not focused. And that's the thing. Like, if you're focused, it's like you have to put on blinders, basically, and, like, just say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Even though I get a bad, comment or things like that, I'm going to handle it with grace, for example. And we'll talk about that here in a few minutes here. So Marco, next question I have for you, is what can we do to stop trolls and haters and spammers? Like, what are some tactics? You have any recommendations?
I do.
Okay,
First
sure.
is,
Yeah.
and the easiest, okay, maybe at the beginning it's the hardest one. It's to ignore them. I think but even before, I think the best way for you to kind of, at least if you're not stopping them, you're stopping the effect. And I think this is also important because sometimes it's really hard to stop them, but you can stop the effect they will cause on you. And this is really important, is to prepare yourself, because if you are, for instance, if you are good on managing the software side of the live streaming, the technical side about the microphone, your head, it's kind of a little more free to deal with them and to overcome the situation. So I think one of the first things you need to prepare in the technical side, so then you can manage better the human side, which includes the trolls. The other thing, ignore them. It's a nice way. Another thing you can try to do, this it's kind of tricky, but it's to kind of acknowledge that particular person and ask he or she to stop. Okay, because sometimes it's better to stop your live stream for 1 minute and give that person a chance to get on tracks, or at least you made yourself clear. Who, it's important as well in these situations to show who rules the house. Okay,
Ooh,
this is
yeah.
important. This is really important because sometimes we were for some years we were taught that we should embrace everybody on social media. We should listen to everybody. We should be nice and soft and whatever. Sometimes you don't have to be like this. Okay, sometimes you just have to say to that person, look, I'm here to try to help people. If you don't like what you're seeing, please go. That's easy.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is, I think one of the things is to deal with these people, is to learn to deal within you, ignore them, and the other side, it's how you manage the, or how do you stop their action.
That's a really good point, in terms of like acknowledging them, for example. Sometimes it's just giving them that little small platform. Just know that here's the thing. It is your live stream. So you need to make sure that you aren't like it's okay to give them a little bit of space, but you don't need to give them the entire floor.
Absolutely.
You need to control your live stream. So, and I love the fact that you mentioned, if you're somebody who struggles with the technical side, it's hard then at that point to stop trolls and haters, like people who are like, looking to interrupt your live stream if you're fumbling with the tech, right?
Absolutely.
And so the first thing, so like, it's like you're already off your game partially, and then then you get someone else that interrupts your stream.
It's even worse.
And then it's like, everything's just kaput at that point. So I love the fact that, you mentioned control your live, like know the tech side of your live stream. And the easiest way to do that is to make sure that you understand the tech. Don't make your live streams complicated. A lot of people make them super complicated. So they have to do like all these different things. And then somebody throws one thing out there and it's already, it's hard at that point. And then you have to find within yourself, how do I get myself back on track to get people back to, to get them back to looking at like getting me back on track. How do I, just kind of keep that out of mind basically. So I like that point. So a couple other tips, by the way, ways you can stop somebody. So obviously you can ask them. I don't know if they're going to like do that, but you can ask them, hey, can you, ask them if they'll stop, give them a warning. A lot of platforms, for example, like even here at Amazon, there's if you're watching on Amazon, there's even features to like report and block people. So that's stuff that like you'd want to make sure you know how to do in the off chance that it happens. The other things you can also do, like this is some great suggestions here from our we got some comments here. One saying, hey, block them. Absolutely, you can block them.
Absolutely.
So give them a warning, block them. And I really like this one. This is from USA Livestream. You're saying before doing a live stream, have a rules banner. If not, block them right away. Do not ask right away. No, not ask. Block them right away. Do not engage. Yeah. So again, it depends on like how much you want to give that person. So definitely consider blocking them or consider reporting them. Know how to do it. And then the other thing that you need to consider doing in order to stop people, and I love this point from NLTMW, who's saying, hey, having good moderators can also help. Indeed. And yes, this is a really big thing. So what we mean by a moderator, for example, is this. So if you're doing a live stream by yourself, you are the moderator and the host. You're basically wearing every hat. If you're, for example, like Marco here, Marco and I are co-hosting together. Marco could have the ability to go in and moderate questions and things like that come up. And so that's where, like, if you're a solo broadcaster, you may want to start to have a team. And that team could be, if you've got a teenager in the house and your teenager wants to learn kind of what you do, you could have them be your moderator. You could collaborate with other people as well. Reach out and talk with other people and see how can you go about like working together, like set some ground rules. For example, Marco and I talk before every show. We talk the week before every show and we get an idea of what the show is going to be about, what the flow is going to be. We talk about like, how are we going to handle things? So you're in the same boat. You need to focus on that kind of stuff. And also want to make sure we highlight some other really good comments that came in, by the way, about stopping people. Another one is making sure that you choose a moderator who knows how to moderate. Again, that's like setting ground rules, right, Marco?
Absolutely. And some I think it was almost 2 years ago or something. I
Mhm.
created a matrix.
Yeah.
Okay. And about moderators, there's two things that they need to manage properly. It's the topic, okay, because if you don't know about what the topic is or how it goes, it's hard for you to moderate, to bring any value, to give feedback to those people who are properly commenting, and also the human side of the the thing. Because if you fight uh, a troll in a troll way, it will be even worse. It's like trying to stop a fire with gasoline.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something that yes, it's really important to choose a person who really knows how to moderate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And so choose somebody that knows how to moderate. And then the other thing I think that's also important, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go to that extreme, right? If they're new to live streaming and then they all of a sudden get, like a comment and it's just not like it's not something they're used to getting, they may immediately say, hey, you know what? I'm going to report people. I'm going to block them, right? They're like, block, block, block. And the thing is, you don't necessarily need to do that. You just need to, part of it's also kind of, and I think you mentioned this earlier, Marco, you also then need to be comfortable as well. Like, you don't need to go like nuclear and like just block somebody just because maybe the person actually maybe they had good intentions, but maybe they could be a cultural thing, could be a language barrier.
Absolutely, yes, 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 indeed, indeed.
So
For
you do
instance,
have to, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
um, this happens often on Amazon.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think that people are making questions which at some point to us they look a little bit weird, but then I give some steps back
Uh huh.
and I think, okay, because for me this is for granted. I understand, but the person on the other side, they maybe just have this uh legit question.
Yeah.
Maybe they need to know, because they don't have the product in their hands and they want to make a wise decision. So sometimes it's good. It's a kind of feeling things, and try to put you again, try to put yourself on others' shoes. It's also something that we like to say often, and this is important as well, because sometimes it's not hard to understand if he's really trolling or is just someone with a different mindset, which we need to acknowledge and understand.
Yep. Excellent point. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many really good comments here, by the way, we've got coming in. And we're going to talk about some ways you can stop and block and ban people in a minute here. Another thing also that's super important, is like for example, if you're managing your live streams, it doesn't matter what platform. If you're on Amazon Live, great. If we're broadcasting like out to YouTube, same thing as well. You need to communicate to your monitors what you want and what the limits are. And NLTMW here makes a great point with this. You need to make sure that if you do get people that are interrupting your live streams, make sure that if you have a moderator in place, make sure they know exactly what you're looking to do. Make sure they know, like, you shouldn't have to tell them, like, at one point, maybe at the beginning, you'll have to tell them things, but I think as things go along, you won't have to tell them as much. So just keep that in mind. And then don't be afraid, if you do get somebody that is like overly aggressive, you can ban them, and you can always unban them as well. So I think though a lot of times it is pretty obvious, if you should ban them or report them. My process, by the way, I don't know what yours is, Marco, but mine is like, okay, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Then I will come in and I will, I'll typically report them, and then I will get to the point where I'm going to ban them, block or ban them. So
Absolutely. Yeah, it's almost, because sometimes
yeah,
it's easy to understand which kind of person they are, because sometimes they make the point at the first word they just put there in the chat.
yeah. Yeah, there's definitely so a lot of stuff you got to consider there. So now what I want to do, Marco, let's do this. Let's talk about some tools and some resources that people can use to stop people from interrupting their live streams. So you've asked somebody, hey, can you stop interrupting my live streams? And the person doesn't seem to comply, right? Like they just kind of keep coming back. Obviously, you can take the steps of banning or blocking them, but are there any things that you can do personally? This is what I want to talk about. Let's talk about like, things you can do personally to help reduce, people from interrupting your streams. And I know we've got a lot of like, we've got some products we want to talk about. But I also want to make sure that like, like it's not always about like, oh, but like you can't just buy a, sometimes it's not, sometimes you can't just like sometimes it's stuff that you need to work on like interpersonal skills. And so Marco, let's do this. I'm going to turn it over to you, but let's talk about some different tools, some different ways that people can stop or block people. So obviously, I mean, I will tell you this. My first one, my go-to is going to be my setup. So we talk about like, here's the thing. If you're working on a very small laptop screen or very small computer screen, it can be a lot to manage. And I think part of that comes down to like how you have your windows set up. So if you've got a very small screen, you may not have, like, if you don't have room for an extra monitor, the first thing I think I'd look at is like, and Marco, feel free to bring this up. First thing I think I'd look at is something like this. I'd look at an iPad, and I look at an iPad because what you can do with some of these, for example, this one is, this gives me additional screen real estate. I can literally take this and have it sitting next to my computer screen. And so then I'm able to look at my screen and run my live stream, but then I can also have the iPad open and I can quickly be reading the comments and quickly tap on some of the items that I need to adjust. So this is a look at the iPad. This is, there's various sizes of this. There's an 11-inch model. There's a 12-inch model. You can get the iPad mini if you want, but personally, I mean, I recommend probably the iPad Pro like this is. And the reason is because it's going to give you some of that additional real estate that you're going to get there. What do you think about this, Marco? Do you like the iPad for doing this?
I don't have, I just have the iPhone.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm considering even to manage my Amazon Live because it gives me wider view.
Yeah, it does.
So yes, I think it's a good option to have because just one screen to manage all the thing. I have two, and sometimes it's hard for me. I have two screens and also the iPhone, and sometimes it's hard for me. So I think it is really important to have more than one screen to manage properly these situations.
So item number one for helping you like stop people from interrupting your live streams is to make it easier on yourself with your setup. So it's not like, obviously having an iPad's not going to stop somebody completely, but it's going to make it easier for you to stop people and to manage things while things are going on. So, and we've got a great comment here from USA Livestream. iPad tablets, they're great tools. Yeah, absolutely. They're great tools for giving you some of that extra screen real estate. Now, the other thing I think is also super important, Marco, is, and I think I don't know if you have this one. If you don't have the budget for an iPad, there's also something called a portable monitor. And this is literally, it's basically like an iPad. It just doesn't have, I guess, like, it doesn't have a hard drive. It doesn't have, let's see, it doesn't have a hard drive. It doesn't have an operating system. It's literally just a screen you hook up to your laptop. And when you hook it up to your laptop, what it's going to do is it's going to give you the ability to have more real estate to work with. So, if your budget doesn't support the iPad, even though you can get more out of it, this would be a way for you to have, you could have, for example, your Amazon live stream on the portable monitor, and then you could have the main stream on the other one. You could, in some cases, the software has ways to split the screen. You could split the screen on the portable monitor. You could even put it in portrait mode there. That's a pretty cool option there that you have in that screenshot there, Marco. So this is, I mean, that's pretty cool, actually. So you could do it like this as well. This is, as you can see, you could have the live stream on one channel on one screen, and then the main broadcast on the other. So that's a look at a portable monitor. What do you think, Marco? Would you go with a portable monitor or an iPad? What's your take?
Well, the thing is about, for instance, the portable monitor. It's a good option, for instance, if you travel often and you need to go live often.
Okay.
Having this monitor, it's good because sometimes you have the laptop and you need the extra monitor. And with this, besides being more affordable, I think You can have more. It's more versatile.
Definitely. Yeah. And I love the point that NLTMW makes. Those are great for travelers and for space limited streamers. Great for reading a pop out chat in vertical portrait mode. Yes, yes, yes. All
Yeah.
yeses. So I think that's a great point. And we even have another really great question. They're saying, hey, you could take a screenshot so you have a record of the original post as well. That's another great thing. And you could do that with, if you go with the iPad, you simply like there's a screenshot combo of like up volume and power button, I think, and then I'll screenshot it. Or if you have that extra portable monitor, same thing. You can just take a screenshot of it. So that way you can automatically start to kind of build that, in the off chance that you get a lot of people asking, like, hey, like it's stuff that you should do to help manage your stream. Like you need to moderate it. And it may not be during the live stream. It may be after the fact that you go and look and say, well, hey, I had this, commenter come on and they were really interrupting our streams. How do we go about, making sure this doesn't happen moving forward? So, and NLTMW, again, sharing some valuable information as a mod. I screenshot as evidence in case it's needed later. Very true. Cool. Okay. So we talked iPads and extra screens. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm gonna move out of the way for a second here, Marco. I'm gonna let you bring this up. So, if you are somebody if you're into live streaming and making video content, and you need extra space, you should check out something like this. So this is and Marco's got this pulled up for me. This is the 34-inch ultra wide curved monitor from LG. And, if you're somebody if you have the space, this is a great product to be able to do this. What you essentially can do is open up 2, 3, 4 potentially windows on this and have the ability to basically segment your live streams in different spots. So you could have the live stream in one, you could have the Amazon Live on another, you could have a third screen where you've got like maybe your screenshot tool is open, things like that, right? Marco, what do you think about this one? I mean, I realize this is more on the more expensive side.
I like this, and this is something that I would buy soon because it's easier to manage, because with this kind of monitor, you can have up to 3 different windows opened at the same time. And for instance, I have 2 monitors, and you can't split one window. So I think it's better, for instance, if you, as we see in the image video editing as well, it's a nice tool. And again, I think we should think not just about one thing we will need to do with a product we are about to buy, but in the big picture. And besides the importance of having the platform where the live streaming is running, like Facebook, YouTube, or both, because this could happen. And to manage things, it's easier when you have a wide screen to put everything in front of your eyes.
And here's the thing, that is an excellent, excellent, excellent point. I mean, in terms of the screen, it looks pretty small back here, right? But I'll tell you, it's not small. And the thing is, here's what it does. It makes your text setup a little bit easier. So it's got an adjustable stand. It can go up and down. So it can go up and down a little bit. You can tilt it, for example. The other thing I really like about this monitor is that if you go to the ports on the back, unlike most monitors that have just they have HDMI or they have DisplayPort, this has HDMI, it has DisplayPort, it has USB-C, it has USB-A, there's even an audio plug. So it has all of this built into it. So for example, if you need to charge things like charge a phone or keep your phone plugged in while you are live streaming, you can put it in this monitor actually. And it does 60 watts of pass-through power, meaning if you have a laptop and you need to charge via USB-C, you can do all that from the laptop as well. You just simply plug one cable into this and then it will charge off of that. So it's a great space saver. And that's a great point, by the way, that USA Livestream mentioned as well, that like it's it is a space saver. And it is. It'll save you space. It means less equipment you have to have. And it's also got really good picture quality. So it's not a gaming it's not a gaming monitor, but it is overall in terms of helping you better manage your live streams, you don't have to have multiple monitors. Like it's one big monitor that the only thing you need to do is spend time dividing up the screen with your windows. And the cool thing is, I think there's software included with it to help do some of that. So that is a big investment I think I would look into. You know, if you're somebody who has a small monitor, like it's great for editing, but it's also great for being able to just, you know, monitor, keep an eye on things, you know,
Yeah.
across all the platforms you're streaming to.
Indeed.
So, absolutely. And again, more good questions coming in. I don't know if you've got any questions from your viewers, Marco.
Just
but, you know,
Randall here. Hello.
yeah, I mean, and so, you know, again, like, and I think you made a really good point on this, Marco, earlier. And it's the fact that if you're looking to keep an eye on the chat and everything else that's going on in your live streams, it starts with having a clean setup. You know, and if you're somebody that has like, well, oh, I bought the smallest monitor, like, why not why not get the bigger monitor for your setup, knowing what you're going to do? By the way, the other reason why people use these curved monitors over the standard non-curved ones is because when you get to a 34-inch or larger, you're going to want a curved monitor because it's going to wrap a bit around you and it's going to create a different perspective. So that way you're not going to have to, like, you're not going to be doing this a lot of times. You're going to be able to, like, you're not going to have to move as much to see that because everything is essentially in one. It's what?
Yes. It's more immersive.
Yeah. No, very true. So in terms of like tech, I think that, I mean, those are probably my big tech items that I think people need to, you know, focus on in terms of stopping like trolls and haters and spam, like making sure you have the right setup to begin with. So if you're managing on like, you know, multiple screens and you got to flip back between tabs, maybe you need to consider getting a portable monitor or an iPad if you don't have the space. And then if you travel a lot, or if you need that big monitor because you aren't traveling a lot, then that monitor can definitely help with that. Now, the other things we always talk about, Marco, you talked about this at the beginning. How do you stop trolls, haters, and spam? And one of those ways is mindset. And I don't mean like, oh, I'm going to think that they're not going to show up. Instead, it's how I respond to it. And, you know, we both know that a lot of times when people get a troll or somebody that's just really interrupting the stream, they'll like freak out, I guess. Instead, I'd suggest being a little more chill. So, for example, I keep some of these on my desk. This is a stress ball. You know, Marco, we've got some of these pulled up. I mean, you can get yourself motivational stress balls. These aren't just for kids. They are motivational, by the way, as well. So consider having some of these around your desk. This way, if you're live streaming and you're talking to the camera and you're like, oh man, I got somebody that's not happy, like somebody's really trying to throw me off my game, then you can actually use these to help you. Like, so for example, if you get somebody that interrupts your live stream, no need to like lose it. Instead, pick up your stress ball on your desk and you can follow some of those. There's actually some exercises there, I think in the fourth image there, about how you can go about using these, right? So there's like, you know, there's like the, you know, like, it's like what, put in your hand, do something like this, you know, there's this, like, imagine like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to let that person bother me. I'm going to quietly have this off my desk out of camera shot. And I'm going to sit there and talk while I'm squeezing that stress ball. So then that way, that anger and that frustration that you're getting because that person is throwing you off your game on your live stream, it's able to disappear. What do you think about this one, Marco? Do you have any, do you keep a stress ball around your desk?
Not really. Okay. No. But I have some, I have a cat. So a cat is also a good stress removal.
No, you're absolutely right. And so this is a very like local, I mean, chances are you might even have some of these laying around, but keep one of these around, you know, keep it on your desk. That way, if you get stressed, just take a couple minutes, breathe, meditate a little bit, and relieve some of that stress. Okay. So now the other thing also, the other thing I personally like to do is I also think that having like a candle or things like that around is also super important. Marco, I know like, so for example, for me, I personally, I like to burn a stress relief candle. I don't know about you. Do you like to burn candles? I mean, like, or not really?
Not really, not really.
Okay. So I use stuff like this. So I have the Capri Blue volcano candle, and this is basically what it looks like. It's what is this? Like this is a 3 ounce candle. So, I've got this. I basically, one thing you can do to help create a more calming environment is to have like a candle, a stress relief candle around you. So, you don't have to use a candle, but for some people, it's also about the environment that you're in. So, if you're in, for example, if you're in, if you're cramped and you're working like at a kitchen table, for example, and you're like, you know what, I need to be calm myself. Start with, get a candle. So, again, this is the Capri Blue volcano candle. Burn a candle. Let that, let that scent envelop your like environment to keep you calm, right? Because I mean, here's the thing: if you get upset because you have a troll or a hater or a spammer on your live stream, you're not getting like, for example, I'll give a great point here. We actually have some comments right now, Marco. I don't know if you see these. Like, we
Yeah,
actually have some comments about people, with people that are like, "Hey, who cares about haters or trolls?" Here's the thing: it can throw somebody off their game.
yeah, yeah.
So it's not about like, oh, well, like big deal, right? For some people,
They are.
trolls, haters, and spammers can throw somebody off their game easily. So what we're doing is you know, we're talking about like getting people more comfortable when they do get somebody like that on their live stream. For example, I just blocked that person. So, because they left like 3 or 4 comments, I kind of get an idea of what they're looking to do, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so coming back to what I was saying, if you're in an environment and you're like, hey, you know what? If you're in a stressful environment, take some deep breaths, make your environment a comfortable environment, one that you want to actually be working in. Don't worry about like, oh, somebody like makes a bad comment. Big deal, right?
Absolutely. And on my side,
Yeah, sure.
Randall made a good point as well. After
Hmm.
485 Amazon Live, it gets easier to deal with,
Oh yeah,
and I think it's something important as well. It's with the practice, with the experience, you'll get. It will be like, okay, no problem at all. Let's solve this. It's done. Let's keep move on.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, and I love that point actually. So for some people, like, if you're the type of person that you let it get to you, you need to learn not to let it get to you, because the more you do, the more you do on Amazon Live, for example, the more you're streaming on other platforms, it gets easier to do. And you start to recognize, like we talked about this earlier, you start to recognize, well, that's probably spam,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or that's probably like, for example, we had that guy here a second ago, and he was basically trolling us with like, a lot
Yeah.
of silly things. Like, super easy.
Yeah.
So what I want to do, Marco, is a couple other resources we had for people, and I want to have you kind of talk about these. Tell me what you want to bring up first.
Okay, we can talk about these 2 books.
Right. So we got
The
some reading resources for you. So we can
Yeah,
give you all the
yeah,
tips in the world, but sometimes you do need to read a book to give you some ideas of how, how it can impact you, or ways that you can not let it impact you. So let me know what we're going to bring up.
okay, maybe we can start with this Confidence on Camera from Loti. I
Yeah,
think
sure.
you know
Yeah, let's do that.
Loti as well.
Not sure. Maybe.
She's an Irish lady
Okay.
which loves the orange color.
Okay.
Okay,
Cool.
she has an amazing background on TV, actress, so she knows really well how to deal with the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, and she likes to prepare. This is
Okay.
something that it's so common in Lottie. is that she likes to prepare. And again, I think it's important, the preparation, to face these situations in an easier way.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something that she likes. Sometimes it's hard to comment about books because I don't want to give too much spoiler.
Of course. No, excellent points. No. So let's show people what's this book you're talking about. So I've got the book. I think it's right. It's this one, right? It's the Confidence on Camera, 7 Steps to Present Your Power on Any Size Screen. Love that, by the way. So do you have this book?
Not yet.
Okay.
I have.
You got it. Yeah.
2 other.
Yes. And so what? So okay. So this is how. First off, how long is this book?
I think it has maybe 2, 3, 4 years.
And how many pages is it?
Let me check. 274.
So it's 274 pages, and it's a book all about helping you be more confident on camera, whether you are on a DSLR camera, on a phone, on a tablet, being invited as a guest. Like, again, part of it is you getting to the point where you're comfortable on camera. And, it's going to start, I'll tell you right now, I mean, the first thing we always recommend to people is to practice. Practice. Like, yeah.
And the thing is, and we talked about this when we did the preparation to this show, is if you're nervous, the trolls will notice and they will come after you. Okay, so this is another thing. If you seem to be nervous, scared, they will tell, and there's a nice way for them to attack you because that's how it is. And with this book, following these rules, it will be an easier process for you to go live and also to face these situations.
That is a great point, by the way. The fact that if you appear nervous, they're going to spot it.
Absolutely.
So I love this. I love this. Camera confidence, 7 steps to present your power on any size screen. So the key thing is, doesn't matter what screen somebody's viewing on, you need to be confident to begin with. So definitely go and check out this book. This is from Lottie Hearn. Again, Confidence on Camera. Now, Marco, okay, we've been talking equipment and we're talking how to get your mind right and how to reduce stress. Do you have any other recommendations that people should check out?
If you don't mind, let's keep talking about books.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Because this one, The Rejection Proof, it's also a really good book because first, and at somehow a troll, you feel the same rejection feeling when someone is trolling you. So you will understand how to deal with this and also how to overcome this and also how to understand that sometimes the outcome, it's not your responsibility. Okay. And sometimes if a troll comes and completely ruin your live stream, it's not your fault. Okay. It's not your thing, because if someone comes and starts doing annoying people or distracting people or interrupting, it's a problem that person has, not you.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you show me let's show people this book. So Marco, I think you've got that book, right? Yeah. Marco's got this. It's Rejection Proof, and it's by, who's it by?
Jia Jiang.
Jia Jiang. Yes, absolutely.
I think he's Chinese. Okay. And he mentions some rejection situation in his life, really vivid episodes. Okay. And then he came with 100 days of rejection challenge. Okay. And through 100 days, he put himself in situations which almost all the time lead him to rejection situations, and he learned how to deal first with rejection, also how then bend the situation and try to get something. Okay, it's not for you, but do you know someone? So this could be a nice option for you as well to understand that. And also he focused in something that I think it's important. Sometimes we focus too much and we are in a era that is talking about results all the time. Okay, and as I mentioned before, the outcome, if not most of the times, at least half of the times, it's not your responsibility, it's not your decision. Okay, so it's good to understand that the process, it's really important, and if you did everything well, you already made a good point, you already win something. Okay, so this is why I like this book. For me, this is a workbook. It's not that book that you read once and that's it. Sometimes I like to come back and to read some things, because it's something that we need to learn to deal mostly by these days.
Yeah, and how many pages is that book, by the way?
It's not big. Let me see.
So as you can see, I mean, you got a little bit of reading for everyone. I mean, so that's
250, not
yeah.
even.
So it's
Okay, yeah, it's not big.
no, and here's the thing. I mean, the great thing about like,
226.
and the great thing about all these books is that it's about like it's about learning like what other people have done, and then learning how you can also apply that to your life. So, for example, if you're live streaming and like like I guarantee you, if you read if you read these books, like you read Rejection Proof, for example, you're gonna see that like there are certain things that people have, certain situations that people have had happen to them to help them become more confident. So,
Yeah.
Rejection Proof, great option, great book. The other book I think we also have on our list, by the way, we have a Cyberbullies book, right? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a book about stopping cyberbullies and trolls. Again, that's a book designed to help you so it's designed to help you learn like kind of what to look for, and you're going to also probably learn some of the same principles that we've been talking about. Like, here's the thing, cuz as much like you got to remember this. If you show people that they can just kind of walk all over you, then you're never going to defeat them. However, if you start to apply some of those principles and show them, you know what, I'm not going to let you bother me, then you're going to come out ahead. So this, I think, is what format is this? I think it's a Kindle version, right?
In a book, and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
$1.05.
Right. Exactly. Not expensive. Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
no-brainer.
And so that's something, if you're into the Kindle, like you can read Kindle, by the way, on iPhone and iPad, and even the Amazon Kindle, obviously. You can read this book on there. And then the other book, Marco, that I know you and I definitely want to talk about is one by a friend of ours, from Jay Bear. And it's called Hug Your Haters, right?
Yes. There you go.
Exactly. And I have the Kindle version of that. You've got the hardback. Let's show people that again.
There you go.
So this is the book. It's a hardback book. It's about how to embrace complaints, keep your customers happy. So
yes,
part of it, I think, with this is, without giving too much away, I mean, it's positivity. I think that's the first thing. So I think mindset's super important, but at the same time, the other thing is like, it's learning from how you react to things and how that can have an impact on you as a live streamer.
absolutely. And I want to bring an in real life situation.
Yeah, sure.
because I think this could be useful, because okay, sometimes we tend to be too radical reacting to things, and sometimes if we let me be a little bit philosophical.
Yeah, sure.
If we apply martial arts techniques, or at least the thought, we can make better results, because sometimes on martial arts they say use the power of your enemy to beat him. And sometimes if we just listen to the other person, and if we acknowledge their situation, because sometimes they are angry, they are not in a good mood, and if you listen to them, if you empathize a little bit as well, this because we never know what's happening in their lives, why they are upset, why they are angry, why they are making not so understandable questions. If we manage that situation in a nice way, this could be, and we should have this in mind as well. when we are in front of a camera, we are not only dealing with the troll or with the spammer or with the hater. We are dealing with everybody that is watching us. Okay. So if someone makes a not so understandable question, not so a standard question, and we maybe reply to that person in a bitter way or something, the other people may ask, well, I'm not putting him a question because I'm scared the way he answered. So this is something that we should have in mind as well, because sometimes that person made a weird, to be sweet, weird comment, and we just went with the axe. And sometimes it's good to let me try to understand better who is in the other side, because we can't see their faces. So that's a lesson that this book talks about, and other, of course, which we should have in mind.
Yeah, and I think like let's do this. If you can do me a favor, let's bring it up on Amazon so people can see what the book looks like. Again, it's a hardback. It's available in various formats as well. But the thing I think I want to make sure that we get across to people, just especially if we're talking about, hug your haters, for example, and they're examples that you can learn from. Like you'll learn how did one company address something, because here's the thing. If you let people get to you, it's going to show. And the only
Yeah,
way you fix that is let it roll off your back. And then, and it comes back to also how you respond to things. So if you respond to things in in a negative manner, like it impacts people. People are going to say, well, I mean, they might understand, well, hey, they're off their game today, but they're also going to understand, like, they also might look at it and say, well, oh, that's happened before. I don't know if I want to work with that person. So, it's also how you respond. And the great thing is there's a lot of really like sometimes it's that basic response that you give somebody that will put everyone at ease. So this is the book Marco was talking about, Hug Your Haters by Jay Baer. Again, it's a hardback book. There's also a Kindle version. There's even an audiobook as well. It's a great book, by the way. I have the Kindle version. Marco's got the physical version. Again, depends, you don't have to sit down and read it from front to back. You can read parts of it. It's a quick read.
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
And
So awesome.
a light read as well.
Yes. And here's the thing, like if you notice, like, you know what, like if you're new to live streaming, I'd recommend starting with, start with some of the books, start to understand how you respond or react to trolls and haters and spammers during your live streams. Like how do your responses impact how you are viewed? And then also look at it as, how do I go about reducing that? Whether that is, getting a stress ball out, like having that handy, having my tech setup like easier so that I'm not all over the place, for example, because if I'm not balanced with my tech support side, and then all of a sudden, like I have that happen, it's going to throw you even further off kilter. So, so I think that's really like just those are some really good resources I think you should check out. I also want to make sure we also check out the comments that we've got. Dimebag Darren saying, hey, his mods are fast like a bug. So again, it's about also like if you're somebody who can have another teammate on your team help moderate comments and things like that, an easy way so that you don't even have to like deal with it is have a conversation with a mod, your own moderator beforehand, let them know what to look out for and have them put people in timeout or have them block people or have them remove them so that you don't see it, for example, or, you don't have to worry about responding to it because it's going to be something that can be controlled oftentimes in your software you're using. So that's a great point. Are there any last tips you want to add, Marco?
Again, I can't stress enough how important it is to prepare yourself, to put yourself in a trusting mood as well, and confident mood. It's really important. And understand that when someone comes to try to ruin your broadcast, it's that person that has a problem. It's not you.
Definitely. So with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning
Thank
in
you.
to episode 110 of the Launcher Live show. On this episode, we talked about how to stop trolls, haters, and spammers from ruining your live streams. As you can see, we even had some people pop in during ours, which I kind of actually expected. So if you want to check out any of the resources we talked about, just go to launcher.live/stop trolls. You'll be able to check out a list of items that we have included. And again, question I have for you, we want to hear from you. What are you doing to stop someone? So we had some people tell us, hey, they work with a moderator. We have other people say, they just, they, have rules that they put up. You can block them, you can ban them, you can put them in timeout. Lots and lots and lots of options. But with that, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to episode 110 of the Launcher Live show. With that, we'll see you all on a future episode. Thanks a lot, everyone.